because nobody's listening, nobody cares. But actually, we influence people without realising.
Yeah.
Like just general conversations, general things, without doing it with the intention to influence. I just think if we could all just express our truth and express our point of view and experience, there's somebody else who has a similar, who is on the similar way of thinking and or could be on the
You're still driving.
that you can influence.
Yeah.
But so many people don't ever say anything or put things in mind
because they're scared.
Scared and also think nobody cares.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
Because like that's how the world goes around, isn't it? Like we, you know, we do that to each other. We merge. Say hi.
Do you want to see a slow bastard?
Yeah.
Oh.
So me and
Got there's actually a person there.
me and Kate Kniggebrun on our way to the Lake District. We're spending our weekends in the mountains. Mountains.
I thought that was the same lady overtaking then.
Imagine that.
What gear are you in?
Oh, dickhead.
What are you doing?
Love. I'm there at the bar. I'm not that innocent.
So we have bought
We bought a map
a map and a pencil
and a map.
and a coat for me and food, flapjacks.
Yeah. So it gets dark, Kate, in what's the time? It's dark in 7 hours. The walk's going to take us 7.5 hours. You'll be alright.
Oh, there we go.
Windscreen available.
So we have arrived in the lakes. We're going to do a 10-ish mile hike up some mountains. Kate is the navigational expert. She is currently... Kate, you know Russian people? Look at me.
You do look like a Russian grandmother.
So I'm not running today because we're hiking. Then tomorrow morning I'm gonna go for a run before we spend the rest of the day doing more shit. Weather-wise, it looks quite nice actually. It's a bit windy, but apart from that, it's not that bad. Yesterday also, I basically lost all of my insides thanks to a nice stomach bug. So today is a challenge of seeing if A, I actually have any substance left in my body to allow me to move, and B, if I have any disasters on a mountain, because so far holding food inside my body has not been great. The right path, we think. So we've gone fuck the route and we're gonna go up that instead. Then we'll re-look at the map and figure out what the fuck we're gonna do. I think. Yeah. Or maybe have a flapjack.
I like the box on there.
Oh, is it flapjack time? Oh, very soon.
Oh, it's flapjack time.
It's ironic that we were reading the map and Kate was grilling into me that I shouldn't use my watch. Yeah. And we went the wrong way because we used the map and didn't use the watch. Lake District. The Lake District.
I'm going to cut into a tube of fish. You can get mercury poison actually.
Can you? How many though? Is it like 9,000 bananas or something? If you got mercury poisoning from eating too much tuna, that would be funny. These are my favourite. And you know the fins?
They're my favourite. I've had them. I tell you.
Right, so it's a bit windy, isn't it, Kate?
It's a bit windy.
It's a bit windy. We're hiding behind a wall. I was thinking about fear, in that I think I've like blunted my fear.
What?
I think I've blunted my natural fear response.
Yeah.
Because I've tried to override it so many times. So I feel like I can't tell the difference between danger. I can, but it's much more of a fine line now. And when we did that top bit and it was so windy, I was like, it'll be fine. I was like, but
I'm so used to it having rational fears.
yeah, and then override it and it is fine.
It's called Satura Crag.
Get your head lower than your hips. Mia's had trapped wind all day, so she's got the shits as well, which is good. And this is just her new birthing position for getting the wind out of her stomach. Our conversations have been filled with groans and pauses as she has to fart and rejiggle her stomach. Solved it.
It's not solved it,
But nearly.
but I now know that I can just do that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's 6:30. I have the full backpack on. I mean, it's not as heavy as it would be in an ultra, but I don't actually need it and I wasn't going to bring it. But I thought I need to start packing it fully for practice. Anyway, it's Sunday the something of October. I have no idea. I don't really know where I'm going, to be honest. I think it's this way. I'm in the lakes still, and we're going to go up Helvellyn today. So I'm just getting in 10 miles before we do that, because I'm not run as much as I would have liked to this week. But breakfast is at 9, which means I need to get this done before then, which means darkness, which means a little bit scary, but we'll be fine. If there's one thing I've learned about running in the last year, it's to sort problems out immediately and not leave them. I ran for like a mile and I've come back to the B&B because those shoes were completely incorrect for the terrain I was on. Way too hard, heel toe drop too high. So as much as it's a nuisance, it feels annoying. It disrupts the flow. What's more annoying is knowing that for the next 2 hours it just doesn't feel right, and that I'm probably causing damage because of my shoes. And hey, who doesn't want to wear bright green luminous shoes? Bright green luminous shoes. Let's try again. It's getting late. I'm going for about half an hour, and literally the last 20 minutes I've been having such a argument in my head, because basically I don't know the route. Look me, this is a steep descent. These shoes are really slippy, despite advertising as the most grippiest shoes known to man, but I'm sure it's just the shape of my feet rather than the actual shoes. And my head torch was bobbing about, it kept falling off my head, I kept slipping, it was dark. You know, you just get really annoyed, and then you get annoyed that you're annoyed, and then you get annoyed that you're annoyed that you're annoyed, and then you realise what you're doing and you stop. But just coming out of that dip, we will call it, and also trying to come down these rocks in the slippiest shoes I feel I've ever worn in my entire life. Reading in a book, it's Scott Jurek's book, I think David Horton says it, it's about it never always gets worse. I remember on the first ultra I did, really significantly being in quite a trough, mentally and physically, and I was like 18 miles in, I remember thinking like, oh, this is me done, and then I observed the remaining 30 miles, what comes down has to go up and vice versa. And it's really true. If you're in a bit of a trough, it never always gets worse. You eventually come back up, and that's the beauty of ultra running, is that you do it long enough to see all of that and to experience all of that. Whereas if you do a 5k, a 10k, fine obviously, but like the experience tends to just be, it just keeps getting worse and then you finally finish. You don't get to see the other side of it where it starts getting awesome and flow.
Why are you having a 10-minute nap?
I feel like I woke up 5 o'clock, I ran 2 hours, came back, had breakfast, had a shower, got ready, and now we're here.
Yeah, that is what happened.
I just need 5 minutes of nobody talking to me.
Yeah.
Of nothing, no stimulus.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Could you not have had that at 5 o'clock?
what?
Could you not have had that at 5 o'clock?
Tonight?
No, this morning.
Well, yeah, but it's too late now, isn't it? Right, I'm ready.
Okay. Oh god.
And we're gonna go up Helvellyn, but not Striding Edge or Squirrel Edge. Squirrel Edge. Scary path, because it's gonna be a bit windy, and I feel like you don't always have to make yourself scared.
Sometimes you just gotta go for a walk and shit yourself on a mountain.
Yeah. Hopefully not.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I don't know where we are in terms of
Reviews. So we just went up Helvellyn. It was a good time.
Mm-hmm.
I also figured that I get neck cramp when I'm low on salt. What do you think about that?
Interesting.
Yeah, fascinating. So in here, what have we got?
Water and electrolytes?
Yeah, correct. Honestly, she knows it.
And what have we got in here?
Rocky sheep tiffin. Probably not ever going to include this clip in anything. So, side up with the car. Get a good angle in. And then here, we straighten up. Oh, is that straight? That's not straight, for fuck's sake. She's only gone and nailed it. I've actually nailed that.
That's pretty impressive actually.
Yeah. So I've just got back from the Lake District and just wanted basically to discuss some things that I thought about while running this morning. So I've had a pretty crazy weekend. Yesterday, well, it's not that crazy, but yesterday was like a 10-mile hike up Fairview Hills. Today did a 10-mile run this morning, again with quite a lot of hills, and then went up to Helvellyn, which is like 950 metres. And I completely wrecked, to be honest. It was amazing though, it was great. However, Friday I had a bit of a stomach bug and basically just lost all of my insides and didn't really eat anything. Saturday I ate, but then after like mid-afternoon I just couldn't eat because my stomach was just not okay. So just an interesting kind of thing of like, this morning went for a run and it was well hard. Like 10 miles, not really up mountains, just up undulating hills, and it was well hard. And then when we went up Helvellyn today, I was struggling so much, and like obviously it's hard because you're going up like a, you know, the third biggest mountain in the lakes, but when it's hard, it's really hard. Like for the first hour of climbing, it took us 2 hours to get to the top. It was literally like that steep, and my legs were like lead. I was just felt so heavy, so tired. It's like I just needed to lie down. And I got like 20 minutes in, and I was so tempted to just turn around to Kate and just say, look, let's just go back. Like, this is, the weather's shit, it's windy, this is a really awful route. And then I realised the existence of you're not always going to have fun. And actually there's a lot to be gained from experiences like that, where it's really hard and you're actually really knackered, and you know, you gain a completely new element of an experience rather than just being you feel good and fresh and it's fun. It's quite a slog, but there's a great saying which is, it never always gets worse. I think I might have said it earlier, it never always gets worse, and it's very true. And I felt like I was in a proper trough, mentally and physically. Got to the top, and as we were coming down, it was like, oh wow, I feel normal again. But sometimes you have to ride them out, you have to ride out them waves. Sometimes, of course, you need to just rest, and you know, obviously. But it was just interesting, it made me think a lot about them experiences can often, people pull out too soon about them, you know, like, oh, it's really hard, I'm going to stop. Whereas if you just keep going, it eventually gets easier. It feels backwards, it eventually gets easier. So anyway, so I think it was made hard, obviously, because of like lack of fuel from literally, you know, my entire insides falling outside of me, being ill in general, and then yeah, and then I'm also at the end of my kind of 3-week build. So how I kind of do things is 3 weeks of a training block with running, and then 1 week deload, 3 weeks, 1 week. I just found that works so good for me in terms of like injury prevention, and like, you know, this is day 21 out of day 21 in terms of building. I definitely do feel like I'm ready just for like a week of lower mileage. I'll probably drop down to like 20 miles, so I'll only be dropping down by 10 miles, but I'll probably spare myself a little bit on elevation and all that kind of thing. The other thing I was thinking about was, so like, I've been really tired this week, and this last kind of month, but from the aspect of like, I asked myself when I was running, I was thinking, right, what are the things I continually complain about? Too busy, I'm tired, I don't have enough time. They're the 3 main things. Now they're of course all solvable, but also it may reflect on the fact that I feel like I'm kind of fighting against reality, in that like, I'm training, you know, I'm trying to build a business, I'm growing a business, I'm training for a 106-mile ultramarathon on top of that, on top of all the other commitments in life of friends, family, keeping oneself alive, fed, keeping a house tidy, all the other stuff. And I just had a bit of a moment of realisation of like, when doing extreme things, the approach also kind of has to be a bit extreme, and like, you can't, balance is a futile term, and it's also a subjective term, and sometimes to do extreme things you have to live in an extreme way. You know, like to train for something like that requires more time on your feet than training for a 10k or training just for the fun of it, and that was kind of like a nice realisation, because it was like, oh yeah, that's why I'm tired. But tiredness is only a problem when you don't think that you should be tired, and also when you're kind of fighting against it. I'm alright with being tired if it's like, it has a purpose, and I'm also doing everything I can within my skill set to get adequate rest. And that's one thing I know that I can definitely improve on, and something I'm going to sit down with tonight when I plan my week for next week, is just look at my calendar and need some more time in bed, need some more time just lying down, need some more of these little bits. I'm going to also look at my nutrition and just try and get a bit better quality food in, because that's obviously a huge thing with recovery. So it's kind of just part and parcel of the process, and I'm not really a fan of the whole kind of grind and die until you just, you know, work yourself into the oblivion. But I'm also acutely aware of, especially when trying to elicit a training adaptation, you do have to overreach, and you do have to put yourself in the bin for a bit for your body to adapt, for you to then rest, for your body to then adapt, and for then that cycle to begin. So yeah, that's. I've also I used to use a Whoop band, which basically measures your resting heart rate, your heart rate variability, which is basically dictating the state of your nervous system, your CNS. And yeah, I've ordered another one of them. Basically it's a subscription thing, and I ended the subscription because I lost the battery pack, but I've actually realised that was actually really helpful for me, because it was almost like objective data to say, right, you're good, or you need to slow down a bit, because life gets in the way of them feelings, and we're kind of just in a perpetual state of being tired sometimes, and it's hard to actually recognise, you know, right, when I'm actually overreaching in a positive way, and when I'm actually overdoing things in a way that's going to cause problems. So, and obviously, you know, I know when that's happening, we all know when it's happening, but I like to have the data to support that is quite cool, and it's also, I want to see how my kind of cardiac fitness responds to this next 36, 35, 34 weeks. That's it. There's great bit in the hills, mountains, It was very scary uphill veloing actually. Got to the top and I was like, nah, that's too steep, that's terrifying. Did it, but I was scared. But that's fine. Anyway, I'm gonna go, I need to unpack all my stuff and then plan a week for next week and then get an early night. Yeah, I'm trying to also figure out what I'm doing with these videos. I want to like document my journey, but I also have many thoughts to articulate and have things I want to express. So I guess the two of them things together.